Hey guys, how's it going? Laura with Garden Answer. Today I want to share with you 5 of my favorite houseplants for low light areas in your house or office building. Huge thank you to Espoma for partnering with us on this video, so let's just get right into the list. The first one is a peace lily, and I love this plant because not many plants that tolerate low light areas will bloom, but this one does. It comes up with these really unique shaped blooms that range from like a green to a white, and they bloom for a really long time. So this one will be up here for weeks before it starts to shrivel and needs to be cut back. I also really like the shape of the foliage and the color. It's very dark green, very glossy. It adds a ton of warmth to any area that you put them in. They usually grow about 18 to 36 inches tall and wide, and they kind of stay sized relative to the size of container you're keeping them in. So if you keep them in a small container, they'll stay a little bit more on the smaller size, but if you keep bumping them up in pot size, they will grow a little bit bigger. So peace lilies do like to be consistently watered, so you want to make sure to keep them on like a weekly watering schedule. That's what I do with mine, but they will tell you when they want to drink. So they will wilt down slightly, you give them some water, and they bounce back really fast. Houseplant number 2 is a pothos, which looks an awful lot like a philodendron, which is also a really good low light plant. They like an area that's out of direct sun, and they're super low maintenance. So you can train these onto a trellis, or you can let them grow as a hanging plant. I like to put mine up kind of on ledges up above cabinets and let them kind of trail down. Really pretty. I water mine about every 10 to 14 days, so these are a little bit lower on the water requirement. And then I just trim back anything that gets leggy to keep them nice and full. The third one is a Sansevieria, which you might also know as a mother-in-law tongue or a snake plant. I just love the strong vertical interest that these bring to any area. They look very modern to me, and they come in lots of different colors and kind of shapes. Some are round, the leaves are round and they're kind of spiky looking. Some are heavily variegated like this one. This one's got yellow margins, and then it's got dark and light green in the leaves. And some of the backside of the leaves even have this silverish color. So I think that they're just super interesting. And they're very low maintenance in terms of water. I probably water mine every 2 weeks, and they stay very happy. The fourth one is a spider plant, and these are super easy to find, and you might recognize this one right away. Maybe your grandma or your mom has one of these, but they're very easy to propagate and pass on down the generations. They get their name because of all the runners that they send out. They kind of spider out, and then they've got little babies on the end, and you can easily pop the babies off, put them down in a pot full of fresh soil, water them in, and in no time you'll have a rooted plant that's ready to go. They come in a really nice dark green like this one. This one's looking super healthy. They also come variegated in either white or yellow, but they are probably a once a week on the watering schedule, and they do really well in a low light spot. The last house plant, and probably my favorite out of the whole bunch, is the ZZ plant. I just like the way this one looks the best. I love the way it grows. It grows in a very strong vase shape, and they're always full of leaves. And the leaves are always healthy looking. It doesn't seem to suffer from tip burn like some of the others seem to do, but they're dark green and glossy. When they first emerge, the leaves are really bright green, and they kind of give you this really beautiful pop of color, and then they deepen in color. This one is probably the most tough of all the plants I've showed you today. They thrive on probably the lowest light and sporadic watering. So if you are a traveler and you're not home very much, this is a really good option for you. These also do really well under fluorescent lighting. So if you're in an office situation, these also will grow really well. ZZ plants are really slow growers, so they don't need to be divided or repotted very often, which makes them even more low maintenance, but you can expect them to grow about 16 to 28 inches tall and wide. So those are my top 5 houseplants for low light areas in your home or your office. Now I want to give you 5 tips, and these are just general tips for keeping your plants looking really good. First of all, low light plants typically prefer drier soil conditions, other than the peace lily that I showed you right in the beginning. That one likes more consistent moisture, but you want to make sure that the others are allowed to dry out before you water them again. Tip number 2 is to about once a month use a damp cloth to wipe the leaves off of your plant. It's really good idea to keep them on a schedule, to keep them clean. It keeps the plants healthier and keeps them looking a lot better. Tip number 3 is on how to combat tip burn in your plants, which can really detract from the look of them. There's usually 2 culprits to tip burn. The first is lack of humidity in the air, especially in the drier months. So to combat that, all you need to do is grab a spray bottle, spray the area around your plant, and that will really help. The other thing is to water with either distilled water, rain barrel water, or water that's gone through a reverse osmosis system rather than tap. Tap water usually has a little bit too many minerals and salts, which can eventually accumulate in the leaves and cause burn. The fourth tip is to feed your plants on occasion with a houseplant specific fertilizer. This is a good all-purpose indoor houseplant food, and I like to feed mine every about 1 to 2 months. And the last tip number 5, is to make sure to check your plant's roots about every 6 to 12 months. So once or twice a year, pop your plant out of its container, take a look at the root system. If it looks like it's getting root bound or it needs more room to grow, make sure to repot in a pot one size larger with a really good potting mix. So that's it, you guys. That was my 5 plants and my 5 tips. Hope this video was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.